Hello, this is John from TC Math Academy. And in this particular video, we're going to practice writing an equation given a verbal sentence, something like this. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and read the problem. It says 3/4 of a number increased by 10 is 16. So what you want to do is write an expression or an equation, obviously an equation in this particular case, that represents this. Now, what variable you use is kind of irrelevant, but if you are thinking about a variable you can't choose one, just use a variable x. That's always a good default variable to use. So if you can write an equation that represents this verbal sentence, go ahead and put your answer into the comment section. I'm going to show you the correct answer in just 1 second, and then of course I'm going to explain this step by step. Also, if you need math help with the course you're taking, test prep or homeschooling, make sure to check out my math help program at tcmathacademy.com. You can find a link to it in the description below. And if this video helps you out, don't forget to like and subscribe, as that definitely helps me out. Okay, so here is the problem. 3/4 of a number increased by 10 is 16. What is an equation that we can write that represents this verbal sentence? Well, let's go and take a look at the answer right now. Here it is. It would be 3/4 x plus 10 is equal to 16. Now, again, if you used a variable other than x, like y or n or something like that, that's perfectly fine. Again, that won't make your answer incorrect. But in algebra, it's just a good idea to use real nice, simple variables, when you can't think of a variable. So things like x, y, a, b, etc. Are always kind of your default variables. Again, but anyways, that's, I digress away from the actual solution. But if you got this right, that is outstanding. Matter of fact, let me give you a nice little happy face, an A plus, a 100%, and a few stars. So you can tell your friends and family that you're able to translate a verbal sentence into an algebraic equation. They'll be so impressed with that. Matter of fact, they might call you up when they might need help with algebra themselves. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the solution. It's really not that difficult at all. What we have to do is literally just take this nice and slow. So again, what we're the whole goal here is to translate, just as if you're translating from one language to another, right? So let's say you're translating from Spanish to English or English to French. It doesn't make a difference. You're going from one language to another language. Here, we're going from the language of words and sentences into the language of mathematics or algebra. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is establish a variable. So let's just let x equal the number in question, right? Because we are talking about a number. So 3/4 of a number. Well, what number? Well, we don't know what number, so we'll let a variable x represent a number. So remember, in algebra, variables represent a number, right? So x, a, z doesn't make a difference. That is a quantity, all right? Now, what quantity? Well, it can change, all right? It could be a specific quantity or it could be any quantity you want, but a variable, let's say like x, is just a number. Okay, so with that in mind, okay, anytime we kind of think of a number, we're going to think of x. So now let's go ahead and read this sentence nice and slow. 3/4 of a number. Now this time we're thinking of x as a number. 3/4 of a number. How do I find 3/4 of anything? If you wanted to find 3/4 of a particular number, what would you do? Well, hopefully you know that you would just simply multiply 3/4 by that number. I say, hey, find 3/4 of 50. You would take 3/4 and multiply by 50, right? So we're going to take 3/4 of a number, i.e. we're going to take 3/4 and multiply by that particular number. What is the number? Well, that number is our variable x. Okay, so this is 3/4 of a number right here. So we're just kind of building out this equation literally word by word, right? So 3/4 of a number, okay, boom, we got that part. Now let's move on to this part, increased. So what does that mean? Well, you're going to increase this amount. So 3/4 of a number increased means you're going to add to it, right? So increased by what? Well, increased by 10. So this is increased right there. We're adding, and we're adding what? We're increasing by what amount? 10. So let's just kind of review this. and make sure we're writing this right. So we have 3/4 of a number, or 3/4 x, increased, okay, by 10. So that's this right here. So let me go and erase this so we can kind of see this all in advance. And this is what you should do when you're translating. Just kind of look at what you wrote and ask yourself, if you kind of read the algebra, does it kind of match the verbal sentence? So you're like, oh, okay, 3/4 of a number, some number x, so it's 3/4 of a number increased by 10. Yep, that looks pretty good. So now let's go ahead and finish up with this part. Is, okay, anytime you see the word is, that's always is or is equal to. It's always the equal sign. So that's our equal sign right here. Is what? Is 16 or is equal to 16. Okay, so again, this is a fundamental algebra skill, and I don't think it's too difficult, but you certainly can be confused by these terms like increased or decrease or sum or difference, quotients, and whatnot. Now, how do you learn this? Well, you need to learn this from the very basics of like an algebra course, okay, or pre-algebra. So a lot of you out there that might be struggling in mathematics is because you never really kind of established a good foundation. It's just like a home, right? So here is a home. Here's the foundation of the home. So here is our lovely little house. Let me kind of just draw my little picture here. Here's my house. Here is the foundation of the house, right? So if my foundation has a bunch of cracks and, it's just like all messed up down here like that, my house is going to be all tilted to the side. It's not going to be that strong. Same thing in math. I know you're like, oh yeah, I've heard that before. I know my foundation has to be strong, but a lot of students, they get kind of, carried, well, I want to say they get distracted by, the pressure of learning the subject at hand, right? So you might be studying quadratic equations, some other algebra topic, and you're struggling, okay? You're like, I can't, I'm not doing well. It's because you never address the weaknesses in your foundation, okay? So sometimes you just literally have to stop and go back and strengthen these skills. And some of the skills that you need to know, or in terms of foundational algebra knowledge, is like translating, right? Translating verbal sentences into algebraic sentence. That, along with other things like how to deal with fractions, positive, negative numbers, order of operations, etc., etc. So if you need help with this kind of basic level algebra, I'm going to suggest checking out like my pre-algebra course. Also, I have a ton of videos on my YouTube channel that can help you out with these type of problems as well. Okay, so if this video helps you out, don't forget to like and subscribe. And with that being said, I definitely wish you all the best in your mathematics adventures. Thank you for your time and have a great day.